Greetings, Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another Battle of the Debuts. I'm hoping that the screen doesn't fall on my head. If you haven't watched the little ad that I've done for the live stream tonight, go and watch it because it's quite funny. Because the thing just collapses on me. I thought, do I finish? Do I do it again? No, I'll carry on because it's quite funny and I like a bit of fun. So, today, Battle of the Debuts. We're going to look at some hair metal today. And two bands that started round about the same time. One became very successful and one just disappeared off the face of the earth. And today's two bands are Poison and Cinderella. We'll start with Poison because their album came out first. So Poison are an American glam metal band formed in 1983 in Pennsylvania in a place called Mechanicsburg or Manakanak. Some real funny names of towns there, which I love. There's been a couple of changes in the band, but the band that was, and it's the one that's going now, of course, is Bret Michaels, Ricky Rocket, Bobby Dole and CC DeVille. The band really achieved their huge commercial success in the mid-80s through to the mid-90s. They're going now, they've been touring with Def Leppard and Motley Crue. They've sold actually 16 million records worldwide, and I have seen them. I saw them at the Monsters of Rock one year. Okay, so their debut album was Look What the Cat Dragged In, and it was released on the 23rd of May 1986. On here, it is the sort of classic lineup of Poison: Bret Michaels on lead vocals and rhythm guitar, CC DeVille on lead guitar and backing vocals, Bobby Dole on the bass backing vocals, and Ricky Rocket on the drums and backing vocals. One thing about this band, like Def Leppard, they could all sing. There are some additionals on here. No, there isn't. The additionals of the people that was in production. That's Rick Browd, Jim Farsi on engineering, and Michael Wagener on, or Wagner, whatever, how he pronounces it, on the mixing. Okay then, so the first track on this album is a little track called Cry Tough. It's alright. At the time, everyone thought it was great. It's a little bit cheesy, but the harmonies are really good. And Ricky Rocket's drumming on this is pretty good as well. I do like that track. Sort of. I Want Action. It's just one of these MTV songs. The trouble with in the mid-80s, they weren't looking at just making an album. They were thinking, what can we put on MTV? Which is not the way to go, personally, but you can see why they did it. It's alright. It's not particularly my favourite track on the album. I Won't Forget You, one of these choosy ballads. It's not very good, but there is one good thing about this track, and that is the guitar solo by CC DeVille. It's really nice. Then we get Play Dirty, which has got some great riffs in this. It's just good old-fashioned glam hair metal riffs, and I don't mind that one. I quite like that one. Then we get the title track on this album, and it's called Look What the Cat Dragged In. This is a great track. I remember when I first heard this, I thought, this is alright. Okay, the hair's about 7 foot in the air, but musically it sounded good, and it's got a great vocal from Bret Michaels on this. It's really good. You got that lovely driving riff from CC DeVille. Really, really good track. Then we get Talk Dirty to Me, which was the big hit, wasn't it? I quite like this. The opening riff is terrific. It was just a song of its time. You know, in 1986, I was 20, and I remember this coming on in the jukebox in the King Billy, and people used to go mad to it and all that sort of thing. It's just one of them tunes from the 80s, isn't it? I've got no, I don't dislike it. Just got fond memories of it. Then we get some Want Some Need Some. It's not a bad track. Ricky Rocket's drumming on this, pretty good. And again, you've got CC's great guitar, really, really good. Next track is Blame It On You. Again, it's that mid-80s glam rock sound. There's nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong. You know, this is part of my growing up. And I've got no problems with that one. Then we get Number One, Bad Boy. This is one of my favourite tracks, actually, by Poison. Okay, it's a little bit cheesy in places, but it's just that hair metal, glam metal sound. Yeah, there's some great riffs, great vocal from Brett. It's absolutely fantastic. Next track, Let Me Go to the Show. The last track on the album. It's alright, nothing special, but it's there, isn't it? Okay, back in the day, when I was 19, 20, I think I was actually 19 when this came out, and I liked it. I mean, I still got, an affection for this album. There's some cheesy tracks on it, of course, and a lot of it was made for MTV, but it's got some great solos, some CC, and a great vocal. But let's see what the professionals thought of it. Well, there's not much on it. There's not many reviews. I went everywhere looking for reviews. Singles did well, and the only reviews I got was from AllMusic, gave it 4 stars, Rock Hard gave it 3 out of 10, and Pop Matters give it 3 out of 10. Charted, got to number 3 in America. I don't think it charted over here. Canada, it got to number 14, and Australia 51. If I shall go and check this, because I've just got a new hit singles albums book, so I'm going to check it, and if I can find it, I will add it into when I edit it, I'll put where it came in the UK. Okay, it did get certificated over here. It got 60,000, so we got a silver, platinum in Canada, and 3 times platinum in the United States, so it didn't do too bad. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality, has some good songs on it, and there's some really cheesy songs on it. So we'll go down the middle on this one, and we'll say 3 out of 5. Production on it, it's 1980s production. The thing is, they still play some of these songs live, and when you hear them live, that's when they really come to their true potential. But when they were on the album, they're not. So I'm going to give production 3 out of 5. Reception, I think it went down really well. Now, I know when it was released over here, we loved it, and there was a group of us that used to play it, and one of my cousins were into it. One of my cousins was really into this band, and she was the one that put it on for me first. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Cover design. Yes, this is the real proper hair metal, isn't it? 6 foot high hair, lots of lacquer, but you can see it's Poison, and you know, I can go with what they were doing on that one. So I'm going to give the cover design a 4 out of 5. So for Look What the Cat Dragged In, we get a total of 14 out of 20. So, also a band formed in 1983, and that was Cinderella. They were formed in Philadelphia. Again, they emerged in the mid-80s. Hit singles, MTV rotation and popularity. They stayed with the sort of glam metal sound through the 80s, but they shifted to more blues rock during the 90s. And then they sort of fell off the face of the earth. The classic, it's Tom Kelfer was the main man in the band, but this is a band, and if you remember, we did a then and now on this, where they swapped around and then they just disappeared. I know Tom had a lot of problems with his voice later on, but their debut album, which was Night Songs, debuted on the 9th of June 1986, which is about a month later than Poison's. So these come out very, very close. And the band at the time, this is an interesting one, this is. The band, it says on the cover, is Tom Kiefer on lead vocals, guitar and piano, Jeff LaBar on guitars, Eric Brittingham on bass and vocals. Now, it says Fred Corey on drums, but he doesn't play on this album at all. There's also additional musicians. There's Barry Bendetta that plays lead guitar on Back Home Again, Nothing for Nothing and Push. Jeff Paris plays keyboards. Jody Cortez plays the drums on the whole album. John Bon Jovi does some backing vocals on this as well. Production was by Andy Johns, David Glover, Joe Horseman, Mark McKenna, loads of people on here. The engineers. So, first track on here is the title track, Night Songs. I love this track. It's got great riffs, and it was just Tom's gravelly voice that really give it that edge. Great track. Still remains one of my favourite Cinderella tracks. Then we get Shake Me. Again, very 1986. Some good riffs though. The guitar work on this is pretty good. Let's see, make sure who's done it, because no, I think this is Jeff LaBar. Yes, I think he died not long ago, didn't he? Good guitarist, actually. Nobody's Fool. Here we go. First MTV hit. But it's all right. I wouldn't jump for this. Then we get Nothing for Nothing, and if you listen closely, you do hear John Bon Jovi on the backing vocals. And the guitar solo is done by this Barry Bendetta, which is pretty good. Once Around the Ride, one of my favourite rock tracks of 1986. That's got a great bass line on this from Mr. Brittingham. I love that track. It is really, really good. Then we get my favourite track on the album, actually, Hell on Wheels. Tom's vocal on this is brilliant. Really gravelly. No wonder he had trouble with his voice. in the end, but it's a great track. Then we get Somebody Save Me. Again, this is a really catchy tune. Some great riffs in this. Really, really good track. In From the Outside. Fantastic track. Just good old-fashioned rock. No cheese. It's just a really good song. Push Push. Good song again. Now the riff in here, I think they went on and used it again in another big hit called Gypsy Road. Very similar sort of riff, and I've got no trouble with that. Back Home Again, another great track. Great riff, great vocal. Terrific track. This was a great debut album. It's got some real powerful rock riffs. Tom's voice on this is absolutely dynamite. Good tracks, strong. Even the cheesy ones, it sound good. And it was one of my favourite albums from 1986. But that's what I thought. Let's have a look at what the professionals. There's a few little articles on here I found. One was from Dave Frickle from Rolling Stone magazine. Considered that Cinderella need to jazz up their material and cut away from cliches if they're really interested in hard rock immortality. Otherwise, their platinum dreams are going to turn into pumpkins. There's a little bit of truth in there. All Music reviewer Steve Huey called it not bad, just generic. Like Mr. Martin Popoff said that put on par Cinderella's rise to prominence with Poison's success, judging them as little more than vacant, colourful but life affirming. He described the songs as heavier than one might have accepted, but of course safe, shallow and watery like the kiddie pool. Yeah, he's got, they were safe. Let's see what we got on the thing. All Music gave it a 4 stars. Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal gave it a 6 out of 10. Again, I couldn't find where it came in the UK charts, but now I've got a little book. I will have a look and I'll put up the UK one underneath, as you can see. But it got to number 3 in the US. Made the Finnish charts, 27. It went platinum in the USA 3 times and platinum in Canada. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality. I think the songs are really good on this. I think they're really strong songs. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Production. Again, it's the 1980s, so it's a nice smooth, nice corners, soft smooth edges. Again, if you hear these tracks live, they're rocking. So I'm going to give production on this 3 out of 5. Reception. Went down well, and I know they went down well here personally, because once I heard this band again, my cousin, she was into the glam metal. I thought, wow, this is good, and I went and brought the album. I brought this album before the Poison album. Great reception, so I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I mean, it went platinum in America 3 times, which is pretty good. Cover design. It's a great cover. Shows who they are. They look well in that purple background. It's nice and clear. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 because it's a really good cover and it does what it says on the tin. So for Night Songs by Cinderella, this gives us a total of 16 out of 20. So, according to the scores, Cinderella wins today. Right. You know, out of the 2 albums, I'm going to go for Cinderella. I think the songs were a lot heavier, a lot punchier. But with the Poison ones, they are great songs, don't get me wrong, but that album seemed to be more, they wanted to get onto MTV. A little bit more, I think, and I think they played it more safe than Cinderella, actually. But I think Cinderella went that way to start, and Poison sort of was catching up with them. And then in the 90s, Tom's voice went, and they just disappeared. I know Tom's performing now, but I think as time went on, even with all the problems in the band with drugs and drinking, Poison really did hit their stride. And now, I've seen clips of them now, they look fitter, healthier than they did when they started. And they're still pumping out great music. I think Brett's voice sounds quite good still. So, I think Poison have really stood the test of time. You know, they had a break, they had a different guitarist, they fell out with CC come back, and I think they're as good as ever. I really do like their later stuff more. Cinderella, yeah, they had a couple of really big hit albums, and I sort of went downhill. We don't know what happened to them. So today I'm going to go with, as I said, Cinderella. But check the poll in the community. It'll be up there. Or just put it in the comments below. Which one do you think was the better album? Do you agree with me that it's Cinderella, or do you think, no, I'm a big Poison fan and Poison are number one? It's up to you now to decide who wins this one. Okay, that's all for this week's Battle of the Debuts. I'll be back later with the cultural show of the week, the album artwork, where we all get serious and talk art. And today we are looking at progressive metal band from the UK, Threshold. And don't forget, I'll be back tonight at 8 PM for a live stream. Dave will be here, Rocky will be here. Probably be a lot more wilder this week. He wasn't last week because it was a bit too hot for him, but the weather's a bit more in his favour today. He's fast asleep at the moment, as he usually is when I do this, because he's not a morning dog, believe it or not. Okay then, I will speak to you later. Bye for now.